how did you get involved with the cause for what you were protesting for?
So I saw that, like on social media, like my friends, they showed me like a poster or something on social media about a protest happening. So we decided to go. We went to two protests. We went to one in Riverview and then another one in downtown Tampa. So that's how I ended up in Tampa that night.
Okay. And those protests were specifically for Black Lives Matter, against police brutality, or
Yes.
all of the above?
Yes, the one in Tampa was a mixture of Black Lives Matter and police brutality, but also boycotting a restaurant that used like racist slurs towards people on social media. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was kind of a mixture of a lot.
Okay. So why would you say that this movement or this cause is important to you personally?
I think it's important to me because I am an African American person. So, I mean, the police brutality needs to stop, and, the killing of African American people needs to stop, like, in my honest opinion. So it just meant a lot to me because, it could be me or one of my family members or, somebody I know, one of my friends. So.
Of course, yeah. It's a very personal issue. So you said that you heard about the protest through your friends, through social media.
Mm-hmm.
So walk me through, like, when did you get there? What did the protest look like? Peaceful, not peaceful? What was happening?
Okay, so I got there around like 8 o'clock, 8:30ish. And the protest was peaceful the whole time. Like, everything was kind of organized, honestly. We walked from one street to another. Everything was organized. We went to the restaurant where they were, using racial slurs towards Black people, and we went there and we protested and we just, chanted and stuff like that. So it was peaceful, the whole time. From my point of view.
Right. And so then at what point did the police arrive?
Okay, so the police was there, like, when I got there, around like 8 or 8:30, the police was already there. They were like lined up in front of that restaurant that we were protesting in front of, and they were there, just standing in front of the restaurant, basically, like in a line, like they were like shoulder to shoulder, in their gear and stuff like that. And we were like in front of them, and we were protesting in front of them. So they were there the whole time, And when we moved from one street, they rode, like, some of them were on bikes and some of them were on foot. They had a lot of people posted up on in the parking garages and stuff like that. So I guess to see every single angle. So if we moved to another street, the police were following us on the bikes. So.
Interesting. And so can you tell me about your arrest and what that looked like, and, what charges that, or under what pretenses they made the arrest?
Okay, so the arrest happened. We were on a street, and they were the police officers that were on the bikes. They were locked shoulder to shoulder, and they had their bikes lined up to block us from going in, from going any further, basically. And then as we were still protesting, I heard the end of something on the police radio, and it was something about unlawful assembly, and it was really, really loud, on the police, I guess it was an intercom, I don't know, it was something really loud, and they said something about unlawful assembly. But I mean, to me, I've never been in trouble with the law ever, so I don't know what those terms mean. I don't even know what it, I didn't know what it was at the time. So, basically, when we got arrested, we were arrested for unlawful assembly. It was a misdemeanor charge, I guess, that they were charging us with. So.
And how did they physically handcuff you? How did
the arrest happened. Okay, so the story of the arrest. So we were on that street protesting. They did the unlawful assembly. When we were walking away, trying to go to another street, because the cops, they kept blocking us in. I guess they were trying to four-corner us, so we couldn't go anywhere. I guess they were trying to arrest us the whole time, kind of as the night went on, because that was around I want to say 11. Maybe 11:45 or something like that. So they kept trying to corner us. So we were walking to another street. As we were leaving, after they broadcasted like the unlawful assembly, you know, nobody was really chanting anymore like that. We were all getting ready to go home. They like shot tear gas from the parking garage, because some of them, like I said before, they were like in the parking garage, just like posted up in there. So they shot tear gas or whatever, but at the time it wasn't really, since it was so far, it wasn't like as strong, but you could smell it. But we were walking away, like everybody was like, most people were trying to go home and like trying to find their cars, so they kept blocking us in every time we would go to another street. They blocked us in so that we could only go one way. So when we only went that one way, people started to run. I guess, I don't know, people just started to run. So I started to run too, because I see other people running. I don't know, you know, what to think. So when we ran into that opening that they had open for us, they blocked us in completely. So they literally blocked maybe like 60-something people in a circle. And they started shooting us with rubber bullets and shooting us with tear gas and stuff like that. And we were on the ground, and they still were shooting at us. Mm-hmm. And they told us to lay on our backs, and they handcuffed me. And then after everything like settled down, I was in handcuffs for like a couple minutes when they told me to sit up on my back, or sit up on my bottom. And then they lifted me up, and my arresting officer brought me to like a grassy area, and then we sat there for like an hour or something like that. But it felt long.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's awful. I'm so sorry you went through that. Were you personally hit with a rubber bullet or tear gas?
So tear gas, yes, I was like affected with the tear gas, because they shot two, like, I don't know, it was like canisters, I guess. They shot two of them right near my head. I don't know if it was on purpose or whatever, but it was by my head. So, you know, it was just kind of hard, like really, really hard to breathe. And like I wanted to stand up, but then I was like, I don't want to get shot with the rubber bullets. And as far as the rubber bullets, I got shot I was wearing goggles, because my friends at the time, they told me to wear protective wear. So I had on some goggles, and they the rubber bullet bounced off my goggles. So
no.
So I didn't get hit any further with rubber bullets though. So.
My God, that's awful. I'm so sorry. So you're sitting there with your arresting officer. You're on the grass. Does a police car eventually come and you're put in the back of a car, or how did they get you to the station?
Okay, so I was put in a van. They put a couple people in a van to get us to the police station. It was like, I want to say it was like maybe like 8 or 9 of us on each side. So maybe like probably, well, let me see, 1, 2, 3, probably like 6 or 7 of us on each side. So maybe like 14 total in that van. So they took us to the van, and the other people, from what I heard, was transported in like police cars, because there was no AC in the other van.
Was there AC in your van?
Yes, there was AC in my van.
And were you still with your friends at this point, or had you guys been separated?
Okay, so I was with one of my friends. The other friend, she got separated.
So she was alone?
Yeah, she was alone through the whole process.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, so they bring you to jail. What was jail like for you? What was the whole booking process like? What was the whole process after the arrest?
Okay, so the process after arrest, we got to the jail, and like we got out of the van, and one of the officers, I guess everybody was talking, because some of the other people had already been to jail before, or they were more comfortable than me, because I've never been in trouble. So they were talking in the van, and then once we arrived to the jail, one of the officers, like, he immediately told us to like shut up. Like, as soon as we got out of the van, told us to shut up. And we stood in a line. They took us temperatures for coronavirus and asked coronavirus questions. And then we got in. Once we got in the first set of doors, they took three females at a time, and they took 3 males at a time. So when it was my turn to go in, I got pat down by a female officer. And then I went into the actual jail. They had us sit in the chairs in the booking area, and that's when we waited to get like pat down again, and we took out all of our piercings. I had to take out my hair tie. We had to take off our shoes and like just get another pat down. After that, we had to ask questions with the mental health counselor about our state of mind at that point, and then we saw a nurse, and she asked us questions about like how do we feel and if we had any like coronavirus symptoms, and like just and then she did another mental health check too. That process took like the longest, and then I went to another area where I got asked questions by another lady, and then she took, all females have to get a pregnancy test, so I had to go get a pregnancy test for that, so that was interesting. And then the rest of the time was spent in booking. They gave some people like sandwiches and like apple juice in a bag, and some of us didn't get any of that, so, but it was just, I mean, that was just the process.
Wow, very involved. So how were you feeling with the mental health counselor? Like, this is your first time being arrested, obviously. It's pretty scary. You've just been traumatized with tear gas and rubber bullets. So what were you feeling
it was
at the
traumatizing.
time?
It was very traumatizing. Like, the handcuffs, like, they put flex cuffs on me, which are like, they're kind of like zip ties, kind of, but like different. They make more of like a triangle kind of shape, and my wrists are really small, so they were really, really like tight on my wrist. So they were like cutting my wrist. So that was like just the most like, that was the most painful the process was, really. I was obviously scared because I've never been in trouble. I've never been to jail. I've only seen what jail looked like on TV. So, I never had an experience with that. So it was kind of scary. The officers, they weren't bad though. So I feel like it could have been scary if like the officers were like rude and mean and stuff like that. But most of them were really nice, and like they worked with us kind of. So, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And plus I was there with one of my friends. So it wasn't horrible, but it was still like the fact that I'm in jail.
Right, of course. Well, I mean, that's something at least, that the cops were decent, I guess.
Well, yeah, they were decent. Like some of the cops were like, iffy, but then you had a couple, like a handful that were really nice and like, actually like understood the situation. And like I talked to one of the cops, and he knew what it was for, and he was just reassuring us that it would be fine and like it'll be okay.
That's good. So if you could put it in your own words now, how would you say that whole arresting experience has affected you or your perspective?
Honestly, like, I don't know, like the whole thing was just like, it was just insane to me. Like, I don't know, it just makes me like kind of keep my guard up more with cops, honestly, because it's just like everything that went down at the protest, it was just like, I don't know, I just feel like it was so unnecessary for them to arrest us and for them to shoot rubber bullets at us and tear gas. I just feel like it was so unnecessary because we honestly didn't do anything. Like, and now it comes out that we really didn't do anything with the state attorney dropping the charges. Like, we didn't do anything.
Right.
And it was just like, are you guys trying to silence us just because we're out here, protesting for something that matters and something that is very real and something that's going on right now, and affecting a lot of people? It's just like, are you trying to silence us, or, what is your motive behind this? So, I don't know. It just makes me like, I don't know, keep my guard up.
Okay. Yeah, I can relate to that. So, how long were you in jail before you were able to be released?
Okay, so I got to jail, I think around like, I called my boyfriend because he didn't know where I was. I called him and told him that I was going to jail because the arresting officer, he allowed me to do that. So I called him and told him that I was going to jail. So that had to be around, like, I think I got to jail around like 1 o'clock.
In the morning?
Yeah, and I got out of jail around like 4, I think. So I was there for like around like 3 hours, give or take. They let me out before a lot of other people. Like my friend, she stayed until like 9:00 in the morning. I got out at 4, because I've never been in trouble, and he gave me a notice to appear, so I didn't have any bond or anything like that. So, yeah.
And at what point were you put in contact with the Florida Justice Center?
Okay, so I was like Googling, or like, I'm not Googling, but I was on Twitter, and I saw, like, I was just on the hashtag Tampa protest, and I saw, you know, a bunch of just like posts and tweets about like the Florida Justice Center. So I had been trying to get in contact with a specific lawyer that a lot of people told me to get in contact with, because he was going to help me and this, that, and the third. And every time I would try to get in contact with this lawyer, he would never like respond, basically. Like, it wouldn't be working out. So I was just like, I started to get frustrated, and I was like, well, I don't know, like, you know, I have plans with school, so I can't have this misdemeanor stay on my record. You know, so I was just frustrated. So I just was going through Twitter, and then I saw the Florida Justice Center, called them. They immediately answered the phone, and called me back and put me into contact with, the same day that I called them, with a lawyer. 2 hours later, they called, like, not even 2 hours later, I think it was like an hour later, they called me back with a lawyer that was willing to help me for free. And I called her, and she's been the best person I've ever talked to in this whole situation, honestly.
Yeah, Jamila Little, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
she's so sweet, so very
so
sweet.
Good. My next question is, how was your experience with Jamila?
It was very good. She talked me through like the whole process, and like everything that she was gonna do and stuff like that, and like everything she was gonna do. Like, obviously she didn't have to do like go like the extra stuff, because the charges got dropped, but she did so much for me, and like just calling to let me know that the charges were getting dropped and stuff like that. She called me to let me know like what was going on, even though I had already seen it before. She still gave me a call and let me know, you know. And then she said even then she was still going to work with me to make sure that this was never going to be on my record and never come up again, basically.
That's awesome. So what does it mean to you that you won't have a conviction or any record, that the case was dropped, basically?
Honestly, it means a lot, because I have plans on going, like, for school, getting into a program, and they do background checks for the program that I'm trying to get into, and I cannot have something like that come up on my background check, because, you know, that could make the difference with me being able to finish school or not. So it means a lot that this is not going to be on my record, and, you know, that I can just continue living my life.
That's so amazing. I'm so glad that she was able to help you out like that, and that Florida Justice Center was able to put you in contact with her so quickly, and, you know, that it kind of all worked out. So, do you have any like final words? Is there anything that you want to say for the record, or anything you would want to share with other people that might hear this interview or read whatever write-up we write with it?
Well, I just wanted to just like say that I'm just grateful for, you know, being put in contact with the Florida Justice Center and Jamila Little, you know, at Little Law, and like just people just helping, you know, people in need, because I don't have money. Like, I'm a student, I don't have money for a lawyer. So just the fact that people are willing to help, you know, and, you know, they believe in this cause and they believe in what you're doing, you know, it gives hope, because it's, you know, so many people could just be like, I'm not going to help, you know, this is too much for me, or they could charge you, and they didn't. So, you know, this just makes me, you know, just know that I can go and protest and believe in something, and somebody will back me, and somebody will be there to, you know, just help and support. And they'll do that for other people too, obviously, because they didn't even know me. So.
Well, I'm so glad that you feel that way. I'm so glad that we were able to help you with all of that. And I hope that this interview that we're doing right now will get to other people, and we'll be able to help them too. And that's partly because of you. So just thank you so much for doing this with me. I will definitely ensure your anonymity, and just thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you guys for helping me.
All right.